So right from skilling to employment is the journey which we have on skills build. Only skill that will be important in the 21st century is the skill of learning new skills. Everything else will become obsolete over time.
Today we are joined by Mr. Manoj Balachandran, Head CSR for IBM India and South Asia. Mr. Balachandran is a technocrat with over 22 years of experience in the areas of program management, data center operations, helpdesk management, to name a few. He's an agile leader who leads innovation and automation when it comes to his CSR activities. In his previous role, he spearheaded one of IBM's largest CSR programs called STEM for Girls, wherein he reached out to over 200,000 girls to encourage them to pursue STEM careers. Under his leadership, IBM India is transforming the digital landscape through its various programs. Mr. Balachandran, pleasure to have you with us today.
Pleasure to be here too, Yamini. Very good morning to all.
Thank you, sir. So just let's begin by understanding a little bit about yourself, your personal background, and what got you into a career in tech.
Wow, that's a long journey of 22 years. So let me start off from where I finished my engineering, and that was way back in '96. And then I got down to working as a shop floor engineer in Ashok Leyland. Worked there for 3 years. My mom said that unless you do your MBA, I will not get you married. So the fear of dying a bachelor, that forced me to do my MBA. Did my MBA in international business from Symbiosis in Pune, and post that got into Satyam. So even though I was really keen on getting into the IT industry, even after my engineering, I just decided, no, you know what, I like, you've done your mechanical engineering for 4 years, so let's get into a real shop floor. So I got there, worked for Ashok Leyland for 3 years, and then really IT industry really excited me. So when I got this opportunity post my MBA to join an IT industry, I said yes, I'm going to jump in, join Satyam as Oracle manufacturing consultant. Worked there for close to 2 years, and then moved on to a very small startup in Bangalore called AppShop in 2002. 2004, AppShop got acquired by a company called USI. 2006, USI got acquired by AT&T, and 2016, the AT&T business got acquired by IBM. I keep just joking that when I lose interest in the job, I just get acquired. And it's been close to, I would say around 17 years or something since I've actually attended an interview to actually take on a new role.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 2019, I was part of a group called the Cloud Migration Factory within IBM. Was playing a global leader role in skills transformation, in rolling out customer NPS surveys and skilling initiatives across the business. When an ex-manager in IBM kind of shared the job description for the STEM for Girls program manager role.
Yeah.
She was wondering whether I would know somebody within the organization who might be interested. But I turned around and said, hey, I would like to do that. And she was quite surprised. And so was my current manager at that point of time, and all my colleagues, and said, why would you want to go into CSR and kind of do that? It's an individual contributor role. You've been playing global roles and handling large teams. I said, hey, you know what? It's a fantastic opportunity to go ahead and be a part of a program which is as large as ever within IBM. I don't think we have done anything of this scale within IBM, and it was a fantastic opportunity also for me to give back. And both my parents were teachers. My mom was a school teacher. My father was a college professor. So teaching and skilling and education is very, very close to my heart. So when this thing came up, I said, I would love to do that. And my earlier engagement was for a 12-month stint in the CSR team to come in from the business side, put in a process structure in place, and then once the framework is up, then to go back into the business side. But then one thing led to another. And earlier this year, I started to head the CSR function and could not have been more happier with that change, because the kind of programs which we run in IBM is just world class. It's just fantastic. The kind of impact which we're making, all of them reaching out, touching and changing lives. So of all the roles which I've done in the past, I think this I feel I'm able to go back to bed with a sense of achievement, with a sense of satisfaction of making a difference.
That's great, sir. And I think it's great how, it's the corporate philosophy is it's so welcoming in its nature that it's beyond just the business side. This whole thing of being inclusion and being socially responsible is at the heart of, everything you do. So that's absolutely great to hear. So let's talk about, your tech expertise, because at the end of the day, that's what IBM is known for, right? It's tech expertise. So how are you leveraging your business side, and how is that, expertise coming into where you do social good for global communities?
In terms of our technology and how we actually go ahead and use it, we've used AI as a, I mean, as I said, yeah, we are thought leaders in artificial intelligence. And we've actually partnered with CBSE, the Central Board of Secondary Education in India,
Yeah.
and we have developed a curriculum for standard 11 and 12. So any school across the country where CBSE, ABSC schools across the country where they take AI as an elective in standard 11 and 12, that the curriculum is actually designed by IBM. So across, I mean, and if you look at it, our skilling initiatives, our education initiatives, we take advantage of the technology which we work on. We have platforms, global platforms on education. One is called Open Tech. Then we have something called Skills Build, and we recently launched another platform called Skills Build Reignite. All of them focusing on some of the new age technology topics which are there. AI, IoT, blockchain, cloud, quantum computing, design thinking. All of them are actually, these are technologies that we work on, right? As an organization, we work on those technologies. So we are also creating those courses which are now being made available for others to learn. So it's a way by which we actually give back, and we really use technology in a very, very and in due course of time, you will hear a lot more about how IBM is actually coming and using that technology and our expertise for the benefit of the country. But now I'll be kind of jumping the gun if you kind of talk about it. In due course of time, in the next, maybe this year, you will also hear a lot of initiatives where IBM is coming back and talking about how we are actually making a difference with our technology and our expertise there.
I think these are some of the most unique solutions that I've seen come out of the pandemic, and it definitely looks like IBMers are working overtime, and doing so much good all around. So following on from education that you spoke about briefly with your stint with CBSE, how has your work in the areas of education and skilling being realigned or repurposed in light of the new education policy that has just come out?
So it's something which when the new education policy came out, we were like, wow, we have been working on this for so many years. In fact, in 2015 and 2016, our ex-CEO, Jenny Rometty, she coined the term new collar jobs.
Right.
Where new collar jobs, we are talking about jobs which are focused, where skills are important more than education, right? I mean, whether you're a graduate, postgraduate, PhD, it really doesn't matter. Do you have the skill to actually go ahead and do it? And so when the NEP came out, we were like, and the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that whole breakdown of the schooling system, and then higher education. We are like, fantastic, right? This is absolutely in sync with what our focus is, as has been on education and skilling
Right.
within IBM. So let me give you a small example, right? Origin of origin of PTech. Okay, PTech is another flagship program by IBM, which got launched in the US way back in 2011. In Brooklyn was the first place where we started having this program called PTech. PTech stands for Pathways to. So it's a long abbreviation. Right now it's called Pathways to Technology, but earlier it was called Pathways to Technology Early College Higher. Okay, and the thought process was that in the US, a lot of people post their schooling, they just start working, right? But they, a few of them, a small percentage of them actually enroll to graduation and then go on to college and all that.
Right.
So if you are anyway going to work after your school, do you have the right skills to get employed by people who are looking out for workers, right? So we started working with the school in Brooklyn and launched this program called BTech, where we started giving them. So it's a 4-year, 5-year, 6-year kind of an engagement with the school,
Yeah.
where schools students can actually enroll and start learning employability skills, which can make them, as soon as they go out of schooling, they can be employed, right? They can be employed at an organization. So there we also get in a lot of partners to come in, and industry partners, and they come in and they tell, okay, so I'm a manufacturing company and I have a factory here. So I'm looking out for kind of skills like which will help me in my factory. So they come in with the course content into the schools and encourage the kids to be or to take those courses so that they're skilled. By the time they finish their schooling, they're actually skilled toward and work, right?
Right.
So that's been a focus, for a long, long time. And if you consider our current programs which we have, like we just talked about STEM for Girls as an example. STEM for Girls is a program where we are going out to. So that program currently runs in around 10 states in India, and the goal is to reach out to 100,000 girls and 100,000 boys over a 3-year engagement period, focusing on uh, ensuring that we get interested in the field of STEM. And because the STEM careers, the STEM jobs are really, really increasing, right? And the research has shown that only 14.1% of the girls are actually taking up STEM careers even when they enter an IT field, they go into HR or project management. They're not really into hardcore technology fields. So we wanted to change that, and we wanted to really think that encourage girls also to start exploring the world of coding. So we introduced STEM for Girls, and year one, we just finished year one in March of this year, and 78,000 girls have been onboarded onto the STEM for Girls program last year, and over 45,000 boys as well. And we are introducing Scratch in government schools, right? And these are schools which are in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So these are people, schools which the kids have not really seen a computer or really worked on it as well. So now there we are going and introducing coding, not just starting off with coding, but starting off with basic understanding of who you are as an individual, basic understanding of self. Who am I? What am I capable of? And then starting off building their agency skills, gender sensitization modules which are actually given to these schools to differentiate, between what is possible for a boy, what is possible for a girl, right? Is there a difference? Should there be a difference? And basically, well, things like that. And then introducing concepts of coding through Scratch. Okay, and Scratch, as you know, is a fantastic tool to encourage kids to get into the world of coding. It's interactive, it's intuitive, and And at the end of it, when you tell them that, yeah, that is what you've done is actually coded a story or a game, they, the fear of coding actually goes away.
Right.
And that is one of those things which we've done in like STEM for Girls. And across our other programs like ATL, we really have some deep connections with Adult Tinkering Labs, where IBM has actually created a platform called ATL InnoNet platform, on which the mentors and the mentees for across the country, across ATL schools and labs, all come on. Concepts like design thinking is something which we have introduced as part of the ATL curriculum, where teachers, because unless teachers then know, how will they be able to transfer that to the kids? So we have now programs we've also focused on teachers and teachers capacity building. Okay. CBSE, as I just talked earlier about the CBSE engagement, AI, and how practical applications of AI kids need to start learning. Even things about ethics in AI, right? Artificial intelligence. It's very, very important for people because technology is as good as how you put it to use. If you
Yeah.
don't put it to good use, then obviously it's got other unintended consequences also. So having modules like that really talks about how technology can be used, and how um, early exposure to technology can really get them interested
Yeah.
into the and actually make India the skill capital of the world, right? Our Prime Minister's making India the skill capital of the world can be achieved by. I think the NEP is fantastic. The focus on education, skilling, all that is fantastic. So our programs have also been completely aligned in that sense, that we started our program start. The earliest start age is an eighth grader who actually comes on board as a STEM for Girls in the STEM for Girls program there. Now with the new NEP, I think we are definitely planning to go a layer down, a couple of grades down, maybe to a seventh and a sixth grader also, and
Right.
trying to give them exposure now, because we have the content. We definitely have the content for that, and it's just a matter of now expanding that. And it's a it's a it's a policy well thought out for the future. Um, you know, you know, make sure it definitely addresses the need of the hour.
Yeah.
And uh, and the fact that we are going into a hybrid model, digital um, hybrid model, COVID has actually accelerated it, right? It's the fact that that should have been there. That should have probably, given its due course, it would have probably taken 5 to 10 years for us to get to this level. But I think this has just completely accelerated this whole process of getting into a digital hybrid model, and I think it's only going to be fantastic for the education system and all our programs as well.
I think it's great to see what a holistic approach you've taken, because you've really tapped into every stakeholder within the education system, whether that is students, teachers, and now even working with exam boards. So I think we're all looking to IBM to see what's going to happen in the next few months. So touch a little bit upon the skilling part of what you do. Digital skilling has become so ever important right as of now, and so many other agencies are looking to break into this arena. So let's talk about what you've done in the digital skilling space, and how that has come about.
Okay. So to just look at our digital programs which we have, our
Yeah.
digital platforms which we have, right? Um, we've got three amazing world-class platforms which are right now available. One is called OpenPTech. So that's a logical extension of the PTech program, which I just talked to you earlier about. We said, for a country the size of India, it makes sense to just make it open and make sure that the content and the curriculum is actually available, where more and more people can actually go there and take advantage of it. So we launched something called OpenPTech in India in the month of March, and we already got around 8,000 users on that particular platform, where content around again AI, IoT, all the new color technologies are actually available for kids who are the typical very short attention span, not be able to sit in front of something for more than an hour, all
Yeah.
that. The modules are also designed in such a way that it's teenager focused, right? Youngster focused. So the way the concepts are actually explained and design videos based. So that is OpenPTech for you. And we launched that, and we are going ahead with making sure that across the multiple states and schools, and this is a completely free uh, program which is there. So anybody with a Gmail ID can actually just go there and access the content. And at the end of that, once you finish the content, you also get an IBM recognized digital badge given even by IBM. You can very proudly display it on the social media platforms, which are absolutely also keen for the very important for the today's generation of kids, right? We have another platform called Skills Build, which we launched in India last November, which is focused on people who are seeking jobs, right? People who are wanting to upskill, reskill, and or I just want to I am in the IT field. I just want to know a little more about what IoT is all about,
Right.
and they can get onto the skills build platform through our NGO partners and NGO or NPO partners, through which they actually get onto the skills build platform. And the beauty of the skills build platform is that the content is a little more in depth. It's not like the content which is on open paytech focused on youngsters, but this because the focus of the learner is to actually learn something and then transition into that line.
Right.
So it's a little more in depth. You also have access to mentors and coaches from IBM. So we have a tremendous number of IBMers. Another example of how volunteering works in IBM. A number of IBMers who are actually coaches and volunteers, coaches and mentors on the skills build platform. They also have access to real life projects. If you are taking a content on AI, you will get access to AI projects. On IoT, you will get access to that. To design thinking, you will get access to design thinking workshops, okay, which you can actually practically do. And then finally leading to job opportunities. Who are again our NGO NPO partners? We bring in job opportunities which are actually available to these skills build learners who can then, after learning, after getting certified, getting a badge, they'll also now be able to apply, because ultimately proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? So are you able to land a job after you learn this? So we enable that. So right from skilling to employment is the journey which we have on skills build.
Sir, do you get any sleep with all the work?
Absolutely. I sleep really well, really well, because the kind of impact which you're doing, and the fact that ultimately this is going to help the number of people it can actually go ahead and help. It's just the thought of it, just the fact that you are that every meeting which you have,
Yeah.
at the end of the meeting you think, wow, okay, this is going to help X number of teachers or X number of students in remote parts of India.
Yeah.
Okay. And we really, with the kind of engagements which are now talking with our partners, and because our partner ecosystem is also extremely strong, we will not be able to achieve this without amazing partners which we have across every one of our programs. If the partners were not able to pull up and do what our vision is,
Yeah.
we would not have been able to achieve this. So a strong team, fantastic people on your team, and that team bringing on fantastic partners, coupled with the fact that IBM's strong technology background and the fact that we use technology for good. Good tech IBM, right? With our slogan, with our hashtag Good Tech IBM. I mean, used right from our CEO downwards.
Mhm.
It's we look at it to see, will this make a difference? Will this make an impact? And every one of our decisions are actually based on that. So it's outstanding to be here and to contribute a small way by which the country can prosper, right? So
I would just like to add to that, sir, leadership such as yours, which is the IBM Global as well as the leadership in India, wherein you created this culture really is, something that's making a huge, huge difference. So, with that, sir, we are going to now end our interview. Thank you so much for being a part of this. It's great to see how an organization such as yours is under your leadership is really using tech for social good and, community welfare. And we are very excited to see what's in store for in the future. And I would also like to urge all our viewers to please go ahead and, look at Open Tech, look at Skills Build, and really focus on how they can, work on themselves to reskill and upskill in a time like this. So thank you, sir, for being here.
thank you, Yamini, and thank you so much for the fantastic opportunity. I would just like to end with, Peter Drucker's very famous saying, is
Right.
that the only skill that will be important in the 21st century is the skill of learning new skills. Everything
Right.
else will become obsolete over time, right? So that just the focus on that, and the fact that our CSR programs are aligned to the fact of skilling and reskilling and learning and unlearning and relearning. I
Right.
think that is a amazing gift, which I have personally got when I've got into the CSR world, and happy to also share that with a wider audience. And thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.